Yeah, good night, everybody. Welcome along to, I guess, episode 13, or let's call it a little wrap up of the start base here. Since you hopefully finished episode 12, which was quite a long one, I do apologize. I've done a few things here, so I've spent another hour or so just tidying up a little bit here. I've made the belt work here going into the central storage a little bit nicer. Then I thought we'd just go around here quickly and have a bit of a review about what we did in the last, I think, 9.5 hours, and how we got ourselves into this position where we're basically ready to go. And this base will keep running for the next, I don't know, probably till the end of end of Mark III belts at least. You can keep this running for. So let's go back and review a little bit about what we did. So initially we had the hub just over there in a nasty little spot. And the first thing that we got unlocked was, let's go and have a look. Not the upgrades. Field research, was it? No, it wasn't even. Yes, it was field research. This is the first thing we unlocked because we wanted the MAM. Once we had the MAM, we jumped in here and we made sure we unlocked the power slugs tree. We got ourselves 2 blue slugs. It's very important because the first blue slug unlocks this part here, and the second one unlocked the overclocking ability. So this gave us not the ability to overclock, but the ability to underclock. Very important. Excuse me. So underclocking is very important because it allows us to set up a system which is completely usable until we get to, as I said before, Mark III belts. Mark III belts are a long way away. We need steel for that to make encased industrial beams. And this is basically the idea behind it. So we can have a miner here, your simple miner running at 100%. Remember, we're at quite low tiers here. Each of these smelters here is running at a very reduced 22.222%, and we have 9 of them. We have 9 of them split up with a bunch of splitters, so 1 here and then 1 each of these, so that each one gets an equal amount of ore coming in. When they're running at this 22.22%, we know that everything is going to run at 100%. It's also going to run with a reduced power usage, and this gives us a big advantage in the early game because we can run more of these items at a lower power usage, so we're less likely to blow our power supply. What it also means is that later on, when we upgrade this miner to a Mark II, and when we put power shards in it, we can run it up to the max belt capacity of a Mark III belt, which is 270. If we run this at 270, we can split the 270 belt in 9 ways, because each of these takes a maximum of 30 ore per minute. We will saturate all of these machines, not saturate, but we'll fill them, have them running at 100%, which means all you need to do in order to keep this system running is to upgrade this belt, upgrade the miner, and upgrade this belt, and that belt. So to run at max 3, this will be a Mark III belt, these will be Mark II belts, and the other ones here will be Mark I belts, and that will just keep on ticking along. Now run at 100%. At the moment, we're running at 22.222%, so we're creating 60 ingots per minute, but you'll be able to create 270 ingots per minute with this system. And on the output side here, you'll do the same thing. So this will be Mark II, 2 belts, and this will be a Mark III belt. And then the beauty of this, we run these over to here, we follow where it's going, and we're doing exactly the same system when we're creating our plates here. So eventually, at the moment, we're dealing with 60 ingots per minute. Later on, you'll have 270. This will be a Mark II belt here, here, and here. And each of these constructors are currently running at 6.666. 22.222%, same as the smelters are. You'll just keep bumping them up. When you get to Mark II belts, you'll run us at 44.44%, and you'll double your output. And we can do this for all the iron nodes here. We can not only do it for the iron nodes, we can also do it for the copper nodes. So over here, we have a look. We're doing exactly the same setup for our copper. So we have 1 normal copper node up there, which we're supplying here. Same split up system, same percentage on the smelters here. Difference here is we're splitting our copper into 2 separate lines. The constructors here, we're running and we'll create this wire. What you should actually do is have the 6 of these split up. So actually, to be fair, there are a few things you can improve in this system for when you're doing it yourself. So one thing you should do is maybe consider having more of these smelters running wire. Sorry, smelters. Constructors creating the wire, because this 66.66% is too high. You could split this up into 9 as well, which you should do, and then you'll have these will be all running at 22.222 as well. And then this will be perfectly compatible for when you get up to your Mark III belts as well. So you would have not 3 but 9 of these running, making wire, and then that's fine. And then you have the other half will do exactly the same. So you should have another 9 of these making wire, like I said, at 22.22%, feeding into a bunch of them making cable. Won't be at 33%, but it'll be 11.11%. To be fair, then you would only need half the number of constructors to make the wire that you would have to make the cable. So you could, then it's 4.5, so it's not such a nice number. So better to leave it like that. You'll have a nice constant supply of cable and wire. And then we nip around here. And that will basically keep you going. Like I say, that system, you run 2 of these nodes over here will be running plates, which is what we're doing here. You'll have another node which is running over here and it's making pipes, rods I should say, not pipes. What we did here wrong, something you should bear in mind, is that the pipe production, rod production, sorry, uses half the ingots basically that the plates use. So instead of having 9 constructors here on your line which is making rods, you should have 18, so double it. And then this will also handle everything up to the 270 Mark III belts as well. And then, yeah, like I say, out of the end here, we managed to come up with a nice balanced system. Well, a nice system anyway, which is making, if I remember correctly, 5, I think, reinforced iron plates per minute. So we're making each of these, yep, 5 reinforced iron plates per minute. And is it 4 rotors? Yep, 4 rotors. And we've got a few screws coming out, excess screws coming out as well, and I think 2.5 or 2.75 or something like that modular frames per minute. So there. Now let's slip over to our power. Actually, let's have a quick look at our power grid here, because this is something we did as well. This is the thing I really like about this setup, and the underclocking gives you this beautiful line, nice power plot here, which is very, very smooth. Makes things very predictable and means you've got a lot of room to go for adding things into your factory, and you can do things on an amazingly small amount of biomass. We set this section up quite early. This is the biomass area, so we unlocked I think it's obstacle clearing, which gives you solid biofuel. Very good thing to have. And basically what we have here is 2 bins, one for grass and one for wood. We have a constructor which turns the grass into biomass, and we have a constructor here which turns the wood into biomass, and we're just feeding them both into another constructor which is making solid biofuel. And then we have a bunch of solid biofuel here which we can take and pop into our biomass burners. And because we're running everything at such a low percentage, it's we can bear in mind that we have the coal power plants hooked up here as well at the moment, so we'll get to that in a second. The biomass generators run nicely because everything is underclocked, so your power consumption is much less than it would be if you are running 3 machines at 100%. So whether that's the same for 1.0 or not, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment it seems to be a system that works. So now we have a nice setup here with these 4 biomass generators. They're not actually doing anything because they're allowing for this little bit of power overhead we have here. They should never kick in, but they're just there. So if you jump into this save, which there'll be a link in the description of this video, so feel free to pop into the Discord and grab this save and have a play around and look for yourself. If you want to do that, that will be there. So let's flip over to the power supply, or to the power stations, the coal power stations. See, and I'm going to explain exactly what's going on there. We have one pure coal node over there which we've tapped, and we're running that at 120 parts per minute, and we're feeding these 8 generators up here. And this is a thing I really recommend if you're going to do power systems early on is to have two networks. So we have here one power network which is expressly connected to the miner over there for the coal, just sending the coal over to here. It is also supplying the power to the water extractors out the back. So we have these two water extractors. If memory serves, each one running at, yep, slightly overclocked to run 180 parts per minute, water per minute. If we rip up here, we can see that we are merging those two into all 8 generators here. We have enough coal to run them all because they're all consuming at 15 parts per minute, 15 coal per minute, so that takes 120 up. But the great thing is we have this coal generator here, which you can see is on a network just by itself. Now we know the consumption of the miner and the 2 water extractors is 73.4. We can produce 75 with this, which means that we can have the other 7 generators here on a separate network, which is supplying our factory. So this production of 525 is the 7 other power generators. And this means that our factory network, it can blow, and no problem, we can always restart it, and we will never have to have the problem of refilling the coal lines or figuring out that our water is going on, because this could blow, no problem, this will keep running because the coal is still coming in, the water is still coming in, and all we have to do is re-trigger it when we figure out what's blowing our fuse or what's taking too much power, and that'll be it, and we'll never have to worry about that again. This will just keep on ticking over. So that is about as far as we got. Let's jump up here and get maybe a bit of an overview of the factory. Maybe we can have a better view. And let's talk about the things that, the one thing to look at here is we set up a very basic central storage area here. It's only got 8 containers in it. It's just storing the excess plates, rods, screws. We have a few screws coming over, the modular frames, the rotors, and the reinforced iron plates. And like I said, it's not a huge number of things that's coming in, but it's enough. And by the time you go off and do some exploring for an hour or 2, you come back, these will be nice and full. And there'll be lots of stuff there that you can use to build your next things. So what we're to do differently from this particular playthrough, I think I already mentioned, you should double the number of constructors here that are making rods, because the consumption, at the moment, these are set to 44.44% instead of 22.22, which means that this system as it exists can't handle a Mark III belt coming in, and can't handle 270 items per minute, ingots coming in per minute. So you need to double this. So that's what I would recommend there. Second thing, build vertically if you can. I built this all on the flat because I think it's a bit easier to see what's going on. But if you're doing it for yourself, please build vertically. Make a little building here somewhere and have 3 sets of smelters set up, 1 for each of these nodes, and maybe even pull the copper one over as well, so you have a little ingot production facility, which makes it nice and easy to update. Do the same for the plates and the rods. Have another little building somewhere, or incorporate it in the same factory if you want to. Yeah, so you don't have to take up so much space over here. You know, nice little area here, just build it up. 2 of these sets on each layer. Exactly, yeah. These 2 sets of these 2 constructor arrays here on one floor doing your plates. 2 more of these on the next floor doing your rods, and then a little bit above if you want to do your screws and so on, every all the little bit of pieces up there. So I would do that. What else? I think I would have concentrated more on concrete and iron plates at the beginning. If you look back at the first couple of episodes of the playthrough, which I should hopefully have linked down below as well, you'll see that we tapped 1 or 2 of these nodes over here, and it came quite clear after a couple of hours that we weren't making enough plates. I would have tapped another node and done plates much longer, much earlier, and I would have concentrated more on the concrete as well. I forgot that to make these foundations you need plates as well as concrete, so I concentrated on the concrete initially. I didn't have enough, clearly, and when it came to the plates I really didn't have enough, so I would have been a lot further ahead if I'd concentrated a little bit more on that at the beginning. So that would be my recommendation. Worry about plates, anyway, a small amount of rods and a very small amount of screws to initially set up, but make more plates, make more concrete so you can set up your foundations earlier on into the piece. Get the underclocking, very important, and set up these smelter arrays because they're easy enough to do. They give you this beautiful, nice flat power line, which I really like, and the consistency that you don't expect the power to blow up that often. And like I say, you don't have to do anything with it until you're ready for Mark 4, Mark 4, Mark 5 belts. It will keep going up until then, and that's a long way into the game. And like I say, and it will just keep ticking over. It's the perfect little starter base to get you going. And it doesn't have to be here. There's a good spot just sort of over there where there's a few iron nodes, and there's a couple of copper nodes down there. It's even closer to the Caterium up over there. If you're not going to start in this area, actually over on the quite near to the edge of the map over there, there's also a reasonably good spot. But this is the one that most people seem to like to start in, and it's a spot you generally land closest to when you're starting the game. Also, we have a couple of extra iron nodes over there. There's another copper node that's not very far away. About the worst problem with here is that nearest quartz is on the top of the hill, but when it comes to 1.0, there's going to be some new quartz nodes just over here, so it'll probably be an even better starting place, because quartz nodes is great. If you get the quartz, you can get the blade runners, and that helps you to move around your factory a lot easier. Yeah, so I think that just about covers it. I think I covered all the big points. Yeah, this is how I like to start my factories, and if you want to grab the save file, you'll find it in my Discord channel, be linked in the description below. Feel free to come along and grab it and have a look, and yeah, wish you all the best of luck for your playthroughs of 1.0 when it comes out on September 10th. I know I am looking forward to it. I've got a few saves here that I will be jumping into, maybe to see what the end game looks like, but I'm for sure starting a new playthrough very early on into the piece. So I think we'll call it quits there. Thanks very much for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the playthrough. If you have any questions or comments or whatever you'd like to, please feel free to add them in the comments below. And yeah, I hope to see you one day in my live stream. I'm at twitchtv.com/necklad, and please subscribe and like and do all those sort of cool things. And yeah, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.